Good afternoon. I hope you guys are ready to talk about the Data Information Knowledge Wisdom Model. This presentation is brought to you by Radwan Al-Hajj, Michael Henningsen, and Dean Abraham. So we'll give you a little bit of background of who actually came up with this theory. Russell Ackoff. He was born in 1919 and died in October 2009. He received his bachelor's in architecture from the University of Pennsylvania, and he became the first professor in philosophy in mathematics. And his first publication was in 1957. It was called Introduction to Operations Research. He was considered one of the most important critics of the technique-dominated operations research. The theory was released in his book called Architect or Be. This book was the reason of the human-centered system exists. Some famous quotes that he came up with. And these quotes are strictly from his management theories. A problem never exists in isolation. It is surrounded by other problems in space and time. The more of the context of a problem that a scientist can comprehend, the greater are his chances of finding a truly adequate solution. Another quote was, "The end of one problem may be the beginning of another." This is an image of his theory. So here we'll go ahead and start off with data. Data is actually collecting it, so pretty much researching. And then on the context side, it's actually gathering the parts. And going on with information, same thing. It's actually, I guess, doing and understanding the data and then connecting the data to the information that you comprehend out of it. And knowledge is actually the data in the whole, so what you actually do comprehend. And then wisdom is the action that you actually take out of it. So data. Data is defined as being discrete objective facts or observations which are unorganized and unprocessed and therefore have no meaning or value because of lack of context and interpretation. So there's other things to it. It's also subjective data versus universal data. Subjective data is observations made by science, symbols, and universal data is the product of these observations. And it is perceived as symbols or signs, unprocessed raw information that has no meaning. It basically just exists to be gathered. Data could be words, verbal or text numbers, diagrams, graphs, pictures, facts, lights, heat, force, noises, taste, smell, and even touch or feel. Data is a resource and can be placed in storage, manipulated, retrieved, and piled up, but generating more data accomplishes nothing. It's what you do with the data that has any meaning. For data to make the transformation into information, it requires the receiver to shape or structure it, given it its context. Information. After data is examined and evaluated, it turns into information. So it has the ability to answer who, what, where, when, and why. And it gives an understanding as to what the value of the data represents. So data is now information which can help decisions and actions. Information is only valuable when used and available to others. So it's not valuable if kept hidden to only one individual. Structural versus functional. So information is organized or structured data which has been processed in such a way that the information now has relevance for a specific purpose or context. And it is therefore meaningful, valuable, useful, and relevant. This is Rowley's theory. Henry's theory described that information as data that changes us, so therefore it's actually functional. So symbolic versus subjective. Symbolic is actually universal, and subjective is meaning to which symbols attach. So Anthony's theory describes information as a stage of awareness and the physical manifestations they form. So the other theory describes the information as related to meaning or human intention, either the contents of databases, the web, and etc., or the meaning of statements as they intend by the speaker, writer, and misunderstood by the listener or reader. So knowledge. Application of data and information answers the how questions. Knowledge is the proper collection of information. Knowledge is a deterministic practice. Knowledge can be developed by either understanding the data or memorizing the data. Our knowledge is used across our daily basic process and beyond. So there can be different levels of knowledge. So basic. When you go to a job and or you're looking for a job and you go fill out an application, they ask you some basic information, such as your name, social security, date of birth, address, and the past jobs that you've had, and some references. So you actually have to memorize these basic attributes in order to complete the application. So a moderate level of knowledge. When a student is solving a difficult algebraic equation, now you can actually memorize the equation, or the formula, but you have to understand what proper order and steps one has to take to actually get the correct answer. So continuing with the social security number example, as a bank teller, I might be able to tell your account information just simply from your social security number. But the only way I can have that is only because you provided it to me, and it's only in our database, so I wouldn't be able to access any other information. So in an advanced level, computers and technology have dominated our lives in the past decade. So when I pull out my iPhone 4S and I ask Siri, hey, I want to order some pizza from Pizza Hut, she pulls up all the data that she can collect and gives me the closest Pizza Hut. So that's also an example of knowledge and collecting data. So, but also continuing with the Social Security is an employer that I can, as an employer, I can complete a full detailed background check on you from your credit scores to the past jobs, where you've lived, what school you went to, and etc., just from your Social Security number. Wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge contributes to wisdom. So it includes a mental function known as judgment. Wisdom is used to lead to the best possible action. It has the ability to increase effectiveness. May also include using other knowledge, and wisdom involves combination of a wide range of knowledge assembled from a large amount of information that comes from a huge load of data. So we'll go ahead and show you the entire process of this theory. So here are a random set of numbers. So individually or grouped together, they have no meaning. They can be stored until further use, and they're just a bunch of numbers until passed on to the next stage of the model. So 6, 4, 6, 8, 8, 3, 2, 1, 1, as of right now, have no meaning. But we'll go ahead and give it a little bit of meaning and go on to the information example. So during the information stage, the number is evaluated to mean as an individual's social security number. So in order for these numbers to have a value, they must be able to be used in accordance with or some other information. So if these numbers were only for the individual and never shown to anyone or used for anything other than the existence of these numbers, they would be pointless. So during the knowledge stage, these numbers are made useful by using it as a personal identifier known as the social security number. For instance, during the application process for a loan, you provide your social security number to the bank, right? With that number, the bank is able to view your past information, including credit scores. So that makes us follow on to the wisdom stage. In the wisdom stage, the knowledge from the credit scores which were accessed by that social security number, gives the bank an idea to make the best decision on whether or not to give you a loan or not for that house that you've been dreaming of. And these are all our references, and